Hi, and welcome to this episode of Being Me. I'm your host, Carolyne Gaithuma. I'm so excited that you're here to journey with me as we talk about the different healing and wellness modalities that are going to help you to safeguard your mental and emotional well-being. Today on this episode, we are going to be talking about oils, aromatherapy. And with me is Bree Orata.
Yes.
Hi, Bree.
Hi.
Karibu sana.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what is all this and how did you get into this? You know, just tell us about all these oils.
So I've been dabbling in essential oils for about 10 years, and it started with what was a vein issue. My face had broken out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got tea tree, and then actually, what is the genesis of all this? Yes, it was actually tea tree first, and then just playing around with natural skincare and tea tree oil, and then discovering the essential oil cabinet at Help You, and saying the more exotic the oil sounded, the names that I could not pronounce, those were the oils I wanted. And so in my campus days, all my pocket money used to go into oils.
Wow.
Just because it's like, oh, these small bottles are so cool and they smell really nice and all that stuff. And then I clearly remember one day in 2015 sitting down to journal, and I don't even know where the thought came from, but it came so strongly, and it was like, dear God, help me get proper essential oils, and when you do that, I will go with them all the way. At that time, I had no idea what I was asking for, to be honest. And then, you know, the way things work and the universe conspires, and you get thoughts and messages popping up, and the people are talking. All of a sudden, essential oils started really, really coming up on my radar. And then I think I talked to 2 people, and they kind of ignored me. And then I talked to one last lady who was based in the US, because she had written this really enticing email about oils. I was like, you sound like my lady. And so I reached out to her, and she responded, and I knew without a doubt she was the one. And so began my process with doTERRA oils in particular. And it was a back and forth. How do you get the oils here? How do you do this? How do you do that? But eventually, I got my first kit. My first kit had 10 oils, and it had orange oil, and it had a diffuser. So I remember smelling orange, and my head just went boom.
Wow.
That was the smell. You know, when I opened the bottle, I smelled the oil. I was like, wow, my search is over.
Wow.
So that one I knew. I intuitively knew in my heart that I had found my oils, right? And then I spent the next year, because they came November 2015. So I spent 2016 just playing around, ignoring, figuring. Then all of a sudden I got interested in, oh, you mean there are other oils other than the 10? Then I started buying different types of oils. Then in 2017, I remember I had saved up enough money to go for the doTERRA convention in the US for the first time. And that was now when it came full circle. That's when I understood exactly what my role with oils was going to be. Because I went to a class led by a certain lady, and she was teaching people how essential oils can be used for emotional wellness. I was like, now we're talking. This is it. My interest was piqued. So I did the class. We went through a series of protocols and different ways of using oils, and I could feel the shifts. And I think with time it was, you know, the shifts are very subtle. Sometimes the shifts are very subtle, but sometimes they're also very loud. So it became a practice in noticing, observing what's going on, what's happening, how do you feel after, what emotion comes up when you smell a certain oil. And from that moment, I think I kind of really honed in on how I wanted to work with essential oils. And then began developing my intuition around it and learning how to trust my instincts with oil. And I mean, because essential oils are pretty much taken from plants, you know.
And that's what I was just about to ask you. What's really essential oils?
So maybe you can smell the first oil I smelled and see what that does for you.
Oh my goodness. It's like I just drank something. It's like a certain...
Oh, I hope everybody can see your face, because it's like you're so joyful.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's just an amazing experience.
And it's something that you have to do for yourself. So you see, when you peel an orange, for example, and you're left with that orangey smell on your hands, that's an essential oil functioning at a very basic level. And nearly all plants have essential oils, and essential oils are let me say essential. Essential oils are important to the plant because it helps protect the plant. Essential oils are antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral. They've got so many different properties whose main aim is literally to protect the plant, right? And so when you extract them from the plant and you come and bring it into the human body, it kind of does a similar thing, right? And so essential oils have two very specific characteristics. They're volatile and they are aromatic. So when you open, because they're tiny, tiny molecules, they spread really quickly, as opposed to something like coconut oil, which if you open, it's very heavy and very dense, right? And aromatic, when you open a bottle of essential oil, you will know. Like, you can easily tell, this is orange, this is lemon. If I opened olive oil, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But if I opened something like pink pepper, once you get familiar with the smell, you will know. So it's volatile and it's aromatic. And the main thing to note is essential oils are derived from plants. Always and forever from plants, from the different parts of the plant, right? So from the root, from the seed, from the rind, from the grass, the leaf, the flowers, exactly, the stems. That's where essential oils really come from. And so we have been very blessed and very lucky to get to experience essential oils the way we do now, and really take on the essence of the plant. And I think one of the fascinations that I've always had is I always loved plants since I was a little child. I've always loved plants. I've always had a fascination with spices and herbs. Always had a fascination with flowers. Always the one who's going to pinch and smell and say, oh, it smells so nice. And you know, so I didn't realize at the time, but it was kind of setting me up for this. That appreciation of what plants can do. And in certain languages, plants translate as those that are here in service to mankind.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is. Once you get into the whole idea that plants are here to help us and to serve, are in service to mankind, and even animals, by the way, you begin to look at plants in a new way and to respect plants. And there's obviously a reason why modern medicine derives a lot of its basis from plants. And whereas we've not been able to fully manufacture down to the exact science that plants have, modern medicine has tried to copy and reciprocate and simulate in a certain way. So for me, those little bits and pieces about understanding how plants help us is just mind-blowing.
Wow. And there's something you mentioned before we sat on this set about what oils are really and how they really interact with our emotions and our thoughts. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I think essential oils are both science and an art. Now, it's a science because essential oils are made up of different chemical compounds which interact in the most beautiful way to create this synergy that just goes to work in the body. One thing I really love about essential oils and plants is that they're adaptogenic, meaning they adapt themselves to the body. So whereas something is too high, it can go, the right oil will go and balance it out and make it lower, or where something is too low, it will go and raise it up. So because of the idea of biofeedback, where your cells are communicating, so your the plant cells, the essential oil cells are communicating with your body cells, they just seem to have this hidden communication which allows them to go exactly where they're needed. And science has just barely scratched the surface. There's so much more that goes on beyond that we don't know.
Yeah.
And what makes an essential oil actually therapeutic is that chemical composition.
Wow.
Is that because, you know, we've got alcohols in some, ketones in some, esters in some, and each essential oil has its own unique chemistry that just works well for that particular oil based on the plant it's taken from.
Yeah.
And then it's an art because sometimes it's just a matter of being very intuitive with your oils and knowing, okay, so what do I need now? So for example, I would wake up and say, okay, so this is the oil right now I'm really using this particular blend, the balanced blend. And it changes. Sometimes it's waking up and saying, what do I need today? And this is one thing when I'm teaching people how to use oils, I say you have to learn to trust yourself. You have to learn to trust your body. You have to learn to understand that your body knows exactly what it needs at any given time. And sometimes you might not understand, why am I picking such an oil? Why am I drawn to a certain scent? Why do I dislike a certain scent? But I think over time I've come to that's one of my favorite things when I'm working with oils with people is just by your reaction to an oil, I can tell you so much about yourself. It's so fascinating.
Wow.
It's really interesting. So I normally have people like, okay, smell and let me see, tell me a little bit about what's your reaction. I'm like, is this what's going on? And everybody's like, yeah, how did you know? I'm like, the oil said.
Wow. So, I mean, now that there's that connection, what exactly do you do with the oils other than smelling them? What else is done? You know, I know there's a lot we can talk about and we'll come back with more after the break. But before we go on a break, tell us what are some of the ways in which you use the oils other than smelling?
So I think it's very exciting right now in the world that people are getting kind of turned on to the idea of essential oils, and it's becoming massively popular. Everybody is talking about oils. The thing for me that really stands out is that we have an opportunity right now to incorporate essential oils into every aspect of your life and to create self-care rituals and routines centered around your lifestyle, but that are still supportive of you. So for example, everybody has to take a bath every day, right? But you can elevate that experience by adding essential oils depending on your intention. Everybody has to go to work. Okay, most people have to do some work. You need to focus when you're at work. You can incorporate essential oils into your work day to help you be more productive, to help you get things done, to help you focus and concentrate. People have to sleep. You can bring essential oils into your sleeping routine so that you can have a restful sleep that allows you to wake up rejuvenated and stuff like that. You have to oil yourself, for example. You can bring in essential oils with the intention of supporting and honoring your body as you're doing that. So it's everyday aromatherapy now becomes a way of life, and the long-term effect of that is that you're able to kind of create a sense of wellness for yourself. And this is things that you're doing very consciously and intention. So you move from just
running through life, or just, you know,
to having to being very deliberate about your everyday moments. And in the everyday moments is where magic happens, right? It's where mindfulness comes in. You don't need 20 minutes of meditation for you to feel okay. You can even turn 10 minutes of bath time into a moment of mindfulness and meditation and self-care and wellness.
And I love that, because on this show, we are trying to encourage people to be proactive about their mental and emotional wellness. We are mostly concerned about maintenance of a wellness, you know, a life full of wellness, instead of waiting until now we are into healing. You know, maintenance and self-care is one of the ways that, you know, is one of the ways we maintain our system, this system. And, you know, that's exciting to hear. And when we go on a break, we'll be right back and talk about the emotions. You talked about the emotions and the oils. You'll tell us about these blends that I'm seeing. You can blend them for a certain intention. And then we'll talk about a big one, which is how Africans used to use oil and how that now has been turned into something else, and somebody might actually call Bree a witch, but yeah, but you know, before that, let's go on a break. Keep it right here, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Being Me, a show that is a self-awareness toolbox. I'm your host, Carolyne Gaithuma, and we are back from a break. And on this episode, we are on to aromatherapy, and we have so many oils here. And we have Bree, who is our guest today. And Bree, before we went on a break, we said we'll talk about emotions and oils. Now, you mentioned that there are some oils that elicit certain emotions and there are others that can suppress certain emotions. I would be interested to know more.
I think the most important thing to kind of put in mind is each essential oil carries within it an energetic vibration of essence, emotional essence around it.
Wow.
Right? And so we can just easily do this with you. When you smell orange, for example, what words come up for you?
I feel a sense of passion. I feel a sense of, I don't know how to explain. How do you explain these things? Because it's clearly something I feel when you smell it, yeah. But it's a good vibe. It's a good elevating.
A good vibe.
Yeah.
It's an elevating vibe. So
Yeah.
one of the things I love to do with people when we're doing oils is I ask you to use your words. Words are very powerful.
Yeah.
When you smell an oil, can you give me at least 3 words that describe what you're feeling when you're smelling the oil? So I would normally have you smell an oil. I will look at your face, so that I can look at your reaction, and then I will ask you to describe in words.
Yeah.
And then from those two, I can easily look and just kind of figure out. So there are people, for example, and this is just being very general.
Yeah.
So when you smell a citrus oil, for example, it's very light, it's very uplifting, it's very cheerful, it has a lot of good vibes around it.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody who was to smell a citrus oil and you didn't like a citrus oil, I can easily tell very first that you're very uptight. And that either something is really weighing you down and you're kind of like closed off. Now within the citrus family of oils, like tangerine and lime and grapefruit and bergamot, each of them has its own vibrational essence. So for example, grapefruit carries within it the vibration of honoring the body.
Wow.
And so when you're using, first of all, it's very interesting that the grapefruit, there once upon a time there was something called the grapefruit diet. And so grapefruit was a very popular ingredient in slimming diets and stuff like that. But what grapefruit actually does, it supports you in making choices that are good for your body. So whether that looks like your diet choices, whether that looks like your just general self-care choices,
yeah.
Grapefruit will support you through that process. Something like orange is a very abundant essence, right? When you think of the orange tree and you think about how giving it is, in fact, from the orange tree you can get 3 oils. You can get petitgrade from the twigs, then you get wild orange, and then you can also get neroli from the orange blossom flowers, right? So orange is a very abundant fruit, and it's very playful and it's very happy. So that is the vibe that when you give a child an orange, or when you eat an orange and you just want all the juices pouring and so nice and yummy and all that, that is the same vibe it carries with it energetically and emotionally.
I get what you said when you said that this is the essence of the plant. It's like this now plant has a character. It's like it's like somebody that you can describe.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And so you see, when you go, let's talk about roses, for example.
Mm-hmm.
When you interact with a rose plant or
Mm-hmm.
a rose flower,
Yeah.
what comes to mind?
Wow, I mean, for me, it's just the softness, the beauty, the elegance, that one.
There you go. You've
That,
said it.
yeah.
Softness, beauty,
Yeah.
elegance, and roses is associated with, being love.
Yeah.
So when people are happy, you give them roses.
Yes.
When people need comfort, you
Yeah,
give them roses.
yeah.
So you carry that whole essence, that whole vibe around it, and you experience the same thing in the oil.
Wow.
So, excuse me, when we talk about bringing intention into how you're using essential oils and into your everyday, it's something as simple as, how do I want my day to be like today? So if I wake up and I say, okay, I want my day to be lively and bubbly, I'll go for a citrus oil. So in my shower, I'd probably use something like lime or something like bergamot. If I'm feeling very tender and I'm in need of some comfort, I would probably go with a floral oil. If I need some nurturing of some sort and I feel, oh, my heart is kind of heavy, I would definitely go with a floral oil. If I feel like I'm kind of stagnant and I need a push to get things done, I would probably use an oil like lemon or ginger or black pepper or stuff like that.
Wow, that's a lot. So how does somebody begin this process? Because obviously you're very knowledgeable in this, and I'm sure that's where aromatherapists come in and people who work with oils. But can somebody be their own therapist, and how do they start? Because somebody would be like, okay, so where will I get the oils? How do I work with the oils? Who can teach me about this? Do I need a therapist with me?
It's a little bit about one being curious. The starting point is always curiosity, because like you remember, I started out because I had a skincare issue.
Yeah.
And that's where many people start from. You start with, okay, I have a physical need. Then you go to Google and Google will tell you skincare, lavender, tea tree, rosemary, and then you're like, okay, so in all of those ones, which one do I choose? Sometimes it's about just being intuitive about it and saying, okay, this one looks really good. But sometimes, yes, it does help to have somebody kind of guide you through and say, this is how you can do and this is how you can do that.
Yeah.
There's some basic oils that everybody should probably start with. Lavender would be one of them. Peppermint would be another one. Lemon would be good. Then you just start slowly. And the most important thing is to notice. Because some of the changes that happen, you might ignore, or you might downplay, or you might not even know. Because you're too busy, you're too caught up. I think what makes essential oils really special is that they create this sort of environment that supports you through whatever it is you're going through. It will not do the work for you, but it'll give you some flashes of insight. Insight is what you need. It'll give you a moment to catch your breath if that's what you need. It will support you in the best way, working with your body to create some change. And sometimes it's instant, but sometimes it also takes a bit of time and a bit of you noticing and just paying attention. At the end of the day, it's about, do you pay attention to what you're doing? So if you're just there and you're just going through the motions without really paying attention, you might miss it. It will do what it's supposed to do, but you might miss it and then think like, it's just another one of those things that really smell good. Not that there's anything wrong with smelling good or using it for physical wellness and stuff, but if you're really looking for deep transformation with your mental and emotional wellness, essential oils will work in the background. It would be in your face like, whoa, but it'll work in the background, supporting you gently to help you get to where you need to be.
Yeah, and I support that totally, and I want to add that journaling can also help, because as you journal, then you begin to see, oh, this oil actually gives me this kind of a day or this kind of vibes. And with time, maybe you can, you know, create your own self-care, I believe.
You can,
Yeah.
I mean, with time, with practice, with dedication, you can do all that. And as you mentioned, journaling, you can also journal with oils. So
Yeah.
oils like clary sage and blue tansy and blue lotus, for example, right now, just really powerful aids in journaling. Even an oil as simple as lavender. And lavender is really spectacular because it helps you connect with your needs and communicate that. So many
Wow.
people have a really hard time saying, this is what I need. Okay, so you know what you need, but
Yeah.
telling someone like Caroline,
Yeah.
this is what I need,
Especially
it's very
now.
difficult to express
Yeah.
it. So if you've got lavender, use it when you're journaling,
Yeah.
or put a massage a bit on your throat, so you're able to speak your needs and communicate very clearly.
I love that, because right now we are smack in the middle of a pandemic, and everything has changed for everybody, and a lot of needs have arisen that were not there. People who could take care of themselves are not able to take care of themselves and their family. And right now, communication and collaboration is needed. And you mentioned lavender oil for communicating your needs. How else can this oil and aromatherapy be applied at this particular time? Like, what is something that is like a fast mental, emotional first aid that people can use?
Tea tree.
Yeah.
Tea tree with helping boundaries, for example, because many people are now in close quarters and lines are being blurred left, right, center.
Yeah.
So tea tree, both for protection, because tea tree is a very antiseptic oil. Physically, it's very antiseptic. So when you diffuse that, you're kind of cleaning up your spaces and cleaning up your surrounding and stuff. But more from a boundary perspective, tea tree is a very good oil and a very empowering oil to have. So the combination of tea tree and frankincense as well is just very empowering, and it gives you that kind of courage to just, you know, you can handle it and step into and know that it's not too bad. Other blends that you've been using, use a citrus oil, because things are very heavy. Use as much citrus oils as you possibly can, your oranges, your lemons, your limes, your grapefruits, your bergamot, because they kind of bring cheer into the general environment. Lemongrass would be another really good oil to have, because it's very purifying and cleansing, but also because it's just good to help support the general. And if you were to diffuse lemongrass and tea tree, or if you have Siberian fir, lemongrass and Siberian fir would be very good to just help manage the environment in the home. You know, where things are like either very tense or very dramatic, and you need a bit of calm in the house. Lemongrass and Siberian fir is a really good a good one to use.
Awesome. I mean, I'm getting so many tips from here, and I'm like, time is flying so fast. We are almost running out of time. But before that, even before you tell us where people can get you if they need your help, tell us about our context as Africans, because some of these modalities that we're doing on this show, people think that they are not from here, like they are not, we've not done them in Africa. Tell us.
I think once we appreciate the fact that our forefathers and forebearers used a lot of plant medicine to heal a lot of the issues that they had, and what essential oils are doing now is just a slight elevation from that. The basis still remains the same. Plant medicine, that's what this is all about. And as the world continues to evolve, and as more information becomes available to us, and as the science becomes a little bit more robust and stronger, it's just a matter of really embracing and being curious. This is just, for example, when you think of how people would take Marobaini to cure colds and what. So we're saying essential oils obviously will support you physically.
Yes.
But now we're taking it a step further and saying use it for mental and emotional wellness.
Yes.
It requires a very open mind.
Yeah, it does.
It requires some level of curiosity.
Yeah.
It requires some level of trust. To some extent that the oils will do exactly what they need to do.
Yeah.
But again, go with your common sense, number one, and trust your gut. If you have a feeling that this is not for you, don't force it.
Exactly.
There's so many modalities available for you right now, but if it's something that you're drawn to and you're called towards, by all means give it a try. You might be pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
You know?
Awesome. And that's exactly the reason why Being Me exists, because we want to tell people about as many modalities as possible so that they have a wide array of choices to choose from, because everybody needs mental and emotional wellness. And if there's something that doesn't work, there's going to be something that works for you. So where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Wellness with Bree, or on Instagram at Bree Orata. I normally respond. I am dedicated to teaching classes. I teach essential oil classes every so often. We also used to do what we call yoga Roma back before all this happened, where we do yoga with essential oil, which used to be so much fun.
Wow.
So yeah, just keep an eye out on my social media pages. You'll find a lot of information. I'm consistently just trying to like share and say this is how you can use oils, etc.
Yeah. Wow, thank you so much. I've learned so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm sure you guys have enjoyed as much as I have, and you've learned so much as I have. And I hope that you're going to practice what you've learned, because I don't think there's anything that can help you just by learning it. Practicing it is the key. So grab one oil from, you can get it from these healthy shops, and try out something in your bath water, oil on your skin, or whatever else that feels intuitively good for you to do. And until the next episode, I've been your host, Carolyne Gaithuma. From me, it's bye-bye.